Oh, sorry. I'm
How are you, mate?
distracted by the beautiful red in the background there.
Oh, right. You know what? You'll enjoy these that I've got going on then.
I'm changing my hat for you.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes,
changing my
mate.
hat for you.
I know I heard you're a Liverpool fan.
I'm not only a Liverpool fan, but first of all, thanks for sticking your crotch right in the camera. That was nice for everybody to see. Did everybody get a good look at
I can give you a
that?
foot as well. I can give you a Liverpool sock as well.
Oh, you're full kit wanker over there. What's going on?
You know what? I'm just because I'm quarantining at the moment in Toronto, so I just figured I'll just wear football clothes.
I got to flex one more thing here. I even have the
Oh, nice. That's
I've got
amazing.
the
I think
LA.
we've both
If you're
got a
from
live event going on.
oh,
There you go.
in the same spot.
That's amazing. That
Wait
looks
a
good,
minute.
man.
We're twins. What's your dad's name? No, I'm kidding.
And
Oh, we're
I've
related.
got a picture of Bill Shankly there, and then a bit of "You'll Never Walk Alone" there.
Wow,
It's
that's
all
great.
getting a
I've
bit
got
sad,
that.
isn't it? Yeah,
You'll never walk alone around there. I've
that's
got
great, man.
the three graces, the fairy
Oh
cross of the
man,
Mersey. I got a little Let It Be right here.
nice.
It's like Liverpool threw up on me.
I know. What a pair of nerds we are. Oh my god.
So, how are you, man? Happy, healthy?
I'm good, man. Yeah, like I say, I've just been. I just got back to Toronto about 12 days ago, so I've been quarantining since then. So it's kind of nice to have a chat with someone.
Do you live alone? Or
I do, yeah. So,
because you're a
um,
hard guy to find info about, by the way. I was like, does this guy have a girlfriend? Is
I,
he in a relationship or boyfriend? I
you
don't know
know,
what the whole. I don't know how old he
I
is. I have no
know,
idea.
and I know that I should be better with it, but I mean, there is just something I struggle with the slightly egotistical nature of this job anyway. Like, I'm not a particularly egotistical dude, and obviously I want to make music that people can hear and hopefully like and all that stuff. But I don't really want to be going, look at me, here's all the things that are happening to me, and you know what I mean. I know that people are interested, but I still feel like it's hard to. Talk about myself a lot. I think, I have a little Liverpool man on my shoulder, just being like, "All right, shut up."
Yeah,
You
no,
know.
it's I completely relate to that. I wonder if it is something, attributed to the city there.
Well, I
People,
think there is something to, I think Liverpool is very supportive of music. It really is. But there is a bit of Liverpool that absolutely keeps you very grounded. That doesn't let you, if you get too big for your boots, people are going to tell you immediately. So
yeah,
I think it's a brilliant place to grow up in terms of, you know, of trying to then have a career in music. It keeps you really grounded. And also, there's so much good music in Liverpool and so much good live music.
right.
People are not going to be too judgmental at all. As long as you're up there on a stage, giving it everything and trying your best, they don't really care if it sounds amazing yet. They're going to get behind it because they just want to see heart and
Sure.
effort, and just often four lads on a stage making a terrible noise with their mates. People are going to applaud that, you
Yeah.
know.
What'd you do today? You got up? What time do you get up? Are you an early riser? Are you drinking coffee in the morning? Are you
Yeah.
eating right
Well,
away?
I am. I really like iced coffee. So I had quite a good supply of iced coffee, but I have 2 more days of quarantine to go, and the iced coffee situation has become dire.
Oh boy.
Don't have any more in my fridge. So if anybody wants to send me some iced coffee from LA, feel free.
What do you put? Do you put cream in yours, by the way?
No, I don't. I just I started drinking iced coffee because when you go on tour and you're just kind of tired, and sometimes you play quite late at night.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
sometimes I just started drinking caffeine to keep me awake, really, in that little gap, before
Sure.
the show. And you can't be drinking Coca-Cola every night. It's so bad for you.
Yeah.
So I started drinking iced coffee, but obviously cream and milk's not good for your throat. So I've been on black,
Damn.
hardcore.
That's hardcore.
What do you do?
I drink it black when if I run out of cream, but it's just
Yeah.
like, oh God, I don't know how you do it, man.
It takes a second. It does take a second, but then I guess you just get used to it, and then
Yeah.
it's all good. Yeah.
A little hair on you. Um, so you don't drink Coke and soda. Are you pretty aware of the stuff you eat because of stage presence and all that stuff? Or
I
you?
try to be. I mean, it's a business where there's so many beautiful people, isn't there? You know
It's
that
annoying.
it is a bit annoying, really.
Yeah.
That you just try your best, don't you? I think, to keep up the best you can. The other thing is, like, you know, when you go on stage and you're up there for an hour and a half, it's like a workout. You know, it's like you finish,
Sure.
you feel like you've done a proper workout. So I think you want to maintain a level of fitness so that you don't get halfway through a song and then just sort of go.
Right. So now it becomes eating good and exercising just so you don't feel like shit, really.
Yeah. Like I say, I've been living in Toronto now for 6 years. So whenever I go home, I do go crazy on fish and chips, like dangerously, because I don't get to have them very much, and they are really good. But that would kill you after a while if you only ate that stuff.
Sure. So I don't want to get too personal if you don't like talking about that kind of stuff, but are you single?
Absolutely.
Are you dating somebody?
This is a good opportunity for me to do it because I don't do it enough on my own.
Well, then I'm going in. Do you have a girlfriend? Are you seeing anybody?
Not at the moment. I did, and then we broke up at the very start of like January last year. So like it's been a lot of me thinking my thoughts on my own.
How long was that relationship, if you don't mind me asking?
I think it was like 5 or 6 years. So like a good one.
Yeah.
It was all good. Like, you know, it's just sometimes things just end when they're supposed to, you know?
Yeah.
When you end a relationship like that, you just need to go and see your mates, don't you? And go to the pub and like, you know, feel a bit all right. So ending a relationship and then the coronavirus happening is an odd experience. But
that's heavy.
Ultimately better that way around than being locked down with somebody at the end of a relationship. I don't think that would be any fun at all. So
after being in that and then being in lockdown and imagining yourself living with someone like that, do you ever think you'll get married?
I don't know, man. Probably. I'm sure I'll meet someone lovely.
How romantic of you. Probably.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm sure I will. I'm sure a girl will find me attractive again at some point.
I can't imagine being married, man. I mean, I got out of a relationship, about a 6-year relationship as well, but you know, a couple of years prior, but it's like, I kind of like being single. I've done that and I've done this. I prefer this.
Right.
Not that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't take it there. Well, honestly, sometimes, yeah, but you know what I mean?
I wouldn't have even made that connection, but that's really funny. I just love the moment where you realize what was going on. Well, you know, I mean, like I'm enjoying being single too. I think I will enjoy it more when I can go and meet people, but like, I think just having agency to sort of, you know, do whatever you want, I think is a nice thing, isn't it? You know, and that independence. But I'm also a romantic lad, I think. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm good either way, really.
I think it's a fair answer to be not sure right now, considering.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's the thing. Are there still girls out there? Do they still exist? I haven't really been outside for a while. I don't know.
No. Doors are locked, man. I don't know what's going on out there. It's like I Am Legend out there.
Yeah.
I don't want to know. It's scary.
Do you know what the weird thing is like? Is you have these moments where it's like, is this just the Truman Show happening to me? You know? And is Dave in on it? You know? Like,
right.
Because I realized, like, you know, I had a song last year go quite popular, you know, and you just sort of watching the figures on Spotify, and then you get updates from your manager or your label. And I was thinking, all you would have to do is hack into my Spotify, tell me there's a coronavirus on so I can't go outside, and then get my manager on board, and then invent that I had a song go quite popular. And it might not be happening. It could just be a complete psychological experiment that's being tried out on me.
It's all Truman Show. Yeah. As I sit here with my Celsius energy drink, you should try one today. It's just like the damn, remember they kept doing those commercials all the way through that show?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, as I listen to you on my Apple AirPod Pro.
I know exactly.
For those who don't know, I don't even know what to call you, because people keep referring to you as Mike. But yeah. I'm finding trouble with that because I feel like it's disrespectful to you as an artist. So I'm going to call you Banners. And can you tell people what that is? Where is that even from?
Yeah, I mean, you can call me anything you want. What I quite like about basically when I first signed to my record label, which is Ireland, was like 6 years ago, and it was just generally agreed that I just have a boring name. and then I couldn't use my name, Mike Nelson. So yeah, so I had to come up with a name for it. And I don't know if you've ever tried to come up with like a band name or anything like that, but it's pretty hard on your own because you just second guess yourself all the time. You know, I always think at least if you're in a band, you've got 3 other people that can all say, no, this is good, let's do this, you know.
Sure.
We're going to call ourselves Rage Against the Machine. And everyone else says, that's rubbish. But you say, no, this is our thing. As long as it doesn't have weird negative connotations for people and the music's good, it's good, isn't it? You know, like I say, Rage Against the Machine, if they were rubbish, that's a terrible band name. But they're so awesome that it's amazing. Right. Same with like Coldplay or Radiohead. Really?
It makes no sense. But you're right. No, the music is good, so nobody even questions or thinks twice.
You wouldn't even think twice about it, especially if like the album artwork is cool. It doesn't really matter, does it? But when you're first starting out, you don't have really music out there yet. And Banners was on a very, very, very long list somewhere on my computer, I think. And I just sort of liked the idea of what a banner is, really, because you and I both know that banners are quite a big part of Liverpool Football Club culture, aren't they? There's a lot of, well, there's that great big one, isn't it, that goes over. A lot of people holding and you're sharing together, aren't you, and all that stuff. So I kind of liked all of that stuff and was really expecting 20 replies saying, that's terrible, come up with another one.
I'm guessing you're spending a lot of time this time, you know, by your piano and playing music and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have some kind of arrangement with your neighbors? Or are you keeping a certain time, or how's that?
They've been, I mean, I think my condo is built pretty well from what I could tell, but my door, the next one over is the elevator. So I think you can really hear me if you're in the hallway. Like, so I imagine they don't really know what's going on, especially when you're writing songs, because when you're writing them to come up with melodies, you're just singing complete nonsense, basically. It was just nonsense words and also terrible melodies that you're just trying out. So I can only imagine what it must sound like from out there. Really strange, I think.
Did they ever come out and say, hey, I really like that one you played around 1:30 in the morning the other day? The one that kept me up, I couldn't go to sleep.
I mean, they've been very Canadian about it, really, which is just very polite and nice. I imagine if you could hear it and you were in bed, then I'd be getting a knock on the door. I just really dedicate whatever comes next to the 14th floor.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Maybe that should just be the album title. Did
we just come up with that?
Maybe.
Did I just get some points on that album?
What? Oh, God. I can't believe that. That does seem to be how this business works, where you think, okay, and then it's like, what? These people are also making money from it.
Yeah. I mean, why not? I mean, and that's just the Liverpool way, isn't it? You find that,
you've got
that passion to where you live and that connection.
And you know what? You've got a Liverpool Football Club cap on, Dave. You can have points. It's all good.
I'll take points. Sure. But I mean, yeah, that's almost your reminder for when you do leave there. That album will take you back to the 14th floor. Wow.
And I think that's great about like songs, to be honest, is they are a little time capsule, even ones that you haven't written, even songs that like you love, they're a time capsule of your life, aren't they? From when you love them. Maybe it's like a girl that you met and listened to that song a lot, or maybe it's like a breakup or whatever. But that, you know, you go back to albums, don't you? And you think of, oh, that reminds me of 10 years ago when I was living wherever, you know.
Do you have that moment on stage ever?
I think I've always been really careful with it when I'm writing songs, to be honest. And because you are kind of especially once you've been doing it for a little while, you're aware that actually you are providing a soundtrack for people and that's all I ever really wanted out of it, because it's so important, isn't it?
But I mean, even a soundtrack for you. I mean, how does it, when you play a song from a couple of years ago, what does that do for you?
Well, it's, I think the truth is when you're playing live, you are in the moment, but you've also got a click going on in your ear, and you're also trying to figure out, you know, you're just trying to remember how it goes, and you're trying to figure out what you can say after the next song. So, but there are moments where you do just get to lose yourself in it, and you really think, you know, I have a song, one of my oldest songs has been around for about 10 years maybe, that I wrote just for a girlfriend at the time. And like, I didn't have any job in music. It was just always what I really hoped I could do. And I had no money at all. And I doing just odd jobs, I suppose. And there are moments when I'm playing that song live to people and they're clearly responding to it that you really appreciate. Oh man, this is all I ever wanted, you know? And when I wrote this song, it's all I ever wanted. And it's easy to get stressed out about things all the time. And sometimes you just have to sit back and think, hang on a minute, it's all right.
Yeah.
You've got the thing that you wanted, you know?
I would just think it's kind of a roller coaster of emotion for you playing all these songs that are touching different moments. I guess the arrangement and how you make your set list.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be ups and downs.
Oh, yeah.
I wrote that one I was happy. This one I was kind of sad.
Sure.
This one was,
yeah.
Oh my God.
Totally.
But I guess you're right. You're thinking about too many things.
But when it clicks, and sometimes an entire gig does, and you can just let yourself go with it, and it's amazing. And actually, the thing of it being a roller coaster, that's what you're trying to present when you do a live show, isn't it? You're trying to curate a set list that's going to make people feel like they've been on a journey, I suppose, by the end of it. So I really like that side of it. I think the sort of music I do is quite emotional anyway. So there's an opportunity to provide that to people, really.
That goes right into someone to you. I mean, first of all, this song has been out for a while, hasn't
it? Yeah. I mean, this song has been on a little journey of its own, I suppose. So I
how that happens.
4 years ago, and I think it's been out about 3.5 years. The start of this year, I just sort of noticed like it had exponentially started to grow and grow and grow on Spotify, and then it just was a thing all of a sudden, and then. You know, it's been brilliant. It's been such a privilege. And I think, you know, all you really want when you make music is to try to make people's days just a tiny little bit better. And I don't mean profoundly change their lives. I mean, you just want to be involved in making it a tiny little bit better. And when you look at streaming numbers, you get to think, well, that's this many people's days that I've just made a little bit better, you know? And when you're on your own in an apartment in Toronto, it's so comforting to think that at least you are in some weird way connected with people. They're listening to your voice, and you know.
Well, yeah, and even when you break that down, when you say streaming numbers, like what do you remember what the latest streaming numbers is on that song?
I think it on average probably 750,000 a day on Spotify. I think.
Think about that, man. And I put everything about the business aside and just be you for a minute and think about the fact that that's almost 1 million people every day listening to your song.
Yeah, totally. And it's an unbelievable privilege. It really is.
How do you sit there and think about that? What goes through your head when you're like, I'm just sitting here with my beanie on and my Liverpool kit on?
Yeah.
Almost 1 million people are listening to my song today.
Yeah. Like I say, to be honest, I don't think you can properly quantify it. The really amazing thing is when you get to look at all the countries, and it's everywhere. It's Israel and it's Palestine, you know, and then you get to think, oh wow, this is like I get to have a connection with people from the other side of the
people who don't even understand English.
No, totally, and you know, and that's an amazing thing, and I think it's an amazing thing that we get to have in this modern day and age, isn't it? Is we can be connected to people. And I think although there is problems with social media because it's such a new concept, the big thing that will eventually be the most positive from it is that you can't convince me that people from over there are bad anymore. There will be a point where you can't tell me that that's true because I talk to them on the internet and I know that that's not true. And it's the way the world has been since forever, where you could tell all English people that all French people were bad when we were at war with France, or you could do all of this stuff. And I think the more connected we are globally, the less you can get away with that stuff, you know? So I think so from my perspective, to feel like you just want to do a great big hug of the world, don't you? And that's what you get to do when you're in this music.
On paper, it sounds cheesy, but man, that's pretty profound.
Yeah, it's what it's all about, isn't it? You know, I think at first you just want it to be your job, and you want to pay your rent if you can. But then after a little while, it does become a really profound thing. That again, it sounds cheesy. It's an unbelievable blessing to get to do that, and that's why you have a real responsibility to in my opinion, make music that's important to people and say things that are going to make them feel better.
Sure.
In whatever genre that you do. It's a
Wow,
privilege,
man.
but it's a responsibility too, I think.
That's special. And even see it on your Twitter, some of the people that are messaging you. I mean, there's fan groups in different countries.
Man, I've never been in a different band or had a different project, so I don't know what it's generally like, but I cannot believe how nice people are. Like, people just send me messages all the time, just saying lovely stuff, and they don't want anything. They just honestly, they just want to say nice things,
You know what's funny? They get so mad at you when you haven't put a song out or when you don't release this, which when you really think about it, it's like these people love what you are doing so much that they are angry when you don't give them. Is there a better compliment than that?
Totally. And I would rather it was that way around than people just saying, can you just not release any more music, please?
I'm sure there's some that get those too, but wow, what an amazing compliment.
Oh man, yeah, absolutely. And the idea that there were people waiting for the thing that you're going to do, because all you did is write songs in your bedroom, when you were a kid. That's all you wanted to do. I started writing songs because I wanted to impress a girl once, so that, like, the idea that it's this thing now, what a brilliant thing. And I get to talk to you, when you're in LA about this stuff is brilliant.
Isn't that weird? 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon in LA. How did it work with the girl that you wanted to write the song with, by the way?
Oh yeah, it went really well.
Did it?
Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing, is that there comes a point where you learn to play the guitar like a little 16-year-old dweeb, but then you learn to sing and you realize that if you sing a song to a girl, they do sort of melt a little bit.
Sure.
So if there's any lads out there that want to impress a girl, or any girls that want to impress a boy, just learn the guitar and sing some songs.
I love that. Just because I don't want to be so passive on this song. And I mean, the album is awesome anyway. And I'm such a fan of, when I hear your music, it is so wide, and I don't mean to get like nerdy. It's so like wide and airy. And it's just this different experience where every song, even unintentionally, feels like an anthem, and it feels just so big. And is that intentional? I mean, where's that coming from? And I know you've referenced Coldplay and people like that before.
Yeah. So I was really lucky because I don't know if you know, but a lot of those Coldplay albums were recorded in Liverpool. And my dad recorded them. So I used to get to hang out with those guys quite a lot. So when I was from a young age, just looking up at Chris Martin, being like, I just want to be that guy. So I think, I always loved the more anthemic Coldplay songs. So I think subconsciously I'm always trying to do that. Not that I'm anywhere near as good or ever could be, but, I think it's always a subconscious thing. And the other thing is, I mean, you'll know, but there's 2 great cathedrals in Liverpool, isn't there? And I used to be in the choir of the really, really big one. So you get used to trying to fill a massive space. And I think maybe that's part of it. I think
it's beautiful, beautiful cathedral, by the way. I love going in there and lighting the candles for
it's amazing,
an hour or so. And then,
it's amazing that somewhere so massive can feel so peaceful, I think.
Sure. Oh, wow.
And it's this thing of, like, I mean, whether you're religious or not, and you believe that God is in there all the time, that's one side of it. But also the passion of the people that built it over nearly a century, and that you get to be in there amongst that ornate beauty is an amazing thing.
Yeah, and you become like unaware of anything outside of those walls, and it is a piece that you find. Yeah, you're not thinking about what time it is out there or what you have to go do.
Yeah. Huh? It's just really strong walls, isn't it, of like safety and being welcomed into there. I think it's amazing.
Yeah. But the width on these songs, like, because I'm a big fan of U2, One Republic, who I love a lot, and it's the same type of thing where they've got these wide ambient, just like one noise that will just play continuously through a song. Is your like workspace like that on a song like this? Is there just tons of these? I don't know the technical words, but the ambient kind of noise is just going.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, it's because I love that stuff too. I love it when it's just sort of in there, because I think, especially if, for example, if you have like a high string note that's just kind of going, it makes this like, it's just this stuff that you almost subconsciously consume, isn't it? It just makes a song somehow grab you, and I really like all that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean the thing for me is like I just love strings, and all that really grand stuff. And the battle for me is taking them out. The battle for me is like,
that's my next question I was going to ask. When you're making this kind of stuff, when those noises and sounds that you really have to point out to people sometimes, but they are setting the mood, how do you know when it's done?
You don't, do you? I think that's the thing. And the compulsion is to go, let's put more of that stuff in. Let's get as much in there as we can. But the truth is, and I think any good mixer would say, actually, the less stuff that's in there, the grander it feels, because then everything has space, doesn't it? As opposed to it's all fighting for your attention, and it can clog it all up. So it's been a lesson for me anyway, the less that you can do. But I want to put organs in there and strings in there and 20 backing vocals.
Oh my God.
I always need to be talked down.
That's like, you sound like Danny Elfman over here, like composer, full on with an 80-piece orchestra, forgetting that, hey, I got to go on stage with like 5 people and perform all this. How am I going to make all these sounds?
Well, and the thing is, it's, we're so lucky, again, in this day and age, that you can effectively make an orchestra on a computer, can't you? And the fidelity now is so good. Obviously, if you can get a real orchestra, then great, but it's possible to do all this stuff from home. So you have to be careful.
Some of these virtual instruments, like the Spectrasonics puts out, these Omnisphere and all these kind of,
that's it.
They're sampling real life, even one, instead of just taking one note and just stretching it across, they're sampling each note from an actual, and it's just like, wow.
So it's brilliant, isn't it? It's amazing. What I really love about it is, it used to be, like, I'm very lucky because I'm signed to a record contract from a big label, but it used to be that was the only way you could really make music, because you had to pay £100,000 for a studio for 4 weeks or whatever. But now people have all this stuff in their computer. Kids can make this stuff from their bedroom and they can put it on YouTube and Spotify. You're not as beholden anymore. And I think you're seeing that, aren't you, with some of the stuff that people are making now. Sure. That's also why TikTok is amazing, because it's people are so creative, and now they just have an outlet for it, and they can just be creative at home and in their bedrooms and stuff.
Yeah,
it's pretty amazing time.
They don't have to have thousands of dollars for a studio. They can just grab a little $100 MIDI controller and
that's it, exactly. And Logic or Ableton, and you have all these sounds. You have to spend a little bit of money, but you can. I recorded the next song I have coming out, I think it's going to be February or March, but I recorded it in my apartment just on a couple of pieces of equipment. And isn't it great that I didn't even have to go into a studio for that?
Do you have someone that you play that for, by the way? Or do you just kind of just trust yourself? Do you have like friends that you can play that for?
I never know if songs are any good until 10 people go, oh, this is really good, and I go, is it?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And do they say, nah, this is shit?
They are, I would say, they just tell me the good ones are good and then ignore the really bad ones.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Okay. I was talking to Bastille, Dan from Bastille, the other day, and he was talking about when he asks his friends, he'll be like drunk at a pub or something, and he'll play it to them over his phone, and he's thinking, all the time I put into making something sound good, then I play it to the fucking iPhone.
Well, isn't it interesting? Because I think about movie directors a lot with that, Martin Scorsese, those things. Imagine the budgets on those things, $200 million, and it's months and months and months, and then people are just going to watch it on a train on their phone. Oh God! At least the music, at least there's headphones, Right. But imagine what that would be like. Oh man, I think David Lynch was saying, you spend all this time and then people watch it on their effing phone.
On their phone, on the toilet.
Yeah. And then get a bit distracted.
That's amazing.
And then check Twitter while they're doing it.
As a solo artist, who do you talk to that can understand what you go through? Because when you're in a band, and you do have band members that you can talk to, but with the success that comes from being a solo, who do you go, whoa?
There isn't really anyone, to be honest with you. It's amazing, but it can be quite lonely, because you can't really convey. it has its own unique pressures, you know. When I was already signed, so I'd never done a gig before I signed to my record label, so I didn't even know. So I was signed to them, and I needed to get things sounding good. So I got some session musicians in, but I didn't even know in a rehearsal who says what song you're going to practice next. You know,
Wow.
I didn't even know like that a guitar tuner pedal, mutes the guitar. I didn't know that yet. I didn't know so much stuff, but they're looking to you as the leader of this whole thing. So the learning curve is so steep, and people expect you to be this amazing, like almost like a one-man HR department where you're going to be great at make sure everyone's happy and everyone's comfortable in your band, and everyone is like got food and they've been to the toilet, you know, all of this stuff. And you never did training for any of this stuff, and you've got your own pressures. You've got these record labels now who are waiting for you to write these songs, and you know, and you're terrified because you've never really done these gigs, but everyone's expecting you to just know, and they get annoyed with you if you don't, you know, if you don't do this and that, and you're just hanging in there, really.
That's heavy, man. That's a lot to carry.
It's a very, very steep learning curve. Yeah. I mean, it's better, I think, if you go and play gigs for 10 years and then you get signed. I think my version of it was a bit strange, really. But I think it's made me a much better person, I think, and a much more empathetic. I was always empathetic, but making sure everyone's okay all the time, you know, you can get quite burnt out, I think, with it. Which is why it's been nice to, it's not been nice to have this year. This year's madness, but at least there's been a second of, you don't need to go on tour. You can just figure this out a little bit and take a breath and figure out what you want to happen next, you know, has been good. But after a while, you develop support networks. So my management company are brilliant, you know, and my label now, they're brilliant, and I know the people who I can run things by now, and you just get better at this stuff, don't you?
Yeah.
Any job, I think.
Yeah, you're right though. These moments right now where you can sit on the couch and you don't have to worry about if everybody else is hungry or whatever they're doing. You can just worry about yourself.
Yeah, I remember I played, one of the first gigs I ever played was at South by Southwest, you know, the festival in Austin.
In Austin, yeah.
And it was like maybe the 10th gig or something like that happened to be at South by Southwest, and we played a gig, and like it was quite good, you know. I did fine. I didn't forget any of the words, and I did all the chords. And then afterwards, someone did a tweet that was like, I really enjoyed the Banners gig, but I can't believe that the lead singer isn't into it. It wasn't feeling it, you know. And I was thinking, I wanted to reply with, I'm really into it, man. It's just, I'm just trying to remember what the chords are. I'm trying to remember. I've only just learned how to play the electric guitar, you know. And so it takes a while for you to learn the performance, because up until that point, you're just getting your mouth in front of the microphone and doing the chords, you know. So it takes a little bit of time to do the show, I suppose, and do all that.
You've done it all backwards.
Yeah, man.
You got the label deal first and then did all that. Do they
know
that?
I know. Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't recommend anyone attempt it, to be very honest.
The label's like, wait, hold on. He's never done a show? And
yeah.
He's already been signed.
To be honest, the amount of opportunities that I've had in the last 6 years to get dropped from my record label, you know what I mean? It's constantly like, whoo, I got through that gig, or I got this song out and that did this thing. And then, so that's the other lovely thing is with the song that I've had doing as well, is it's just given me a bit more security with everything. And I feel now, you feel so unworthy of it all. You feel like an imposter, and that you worry that everyone is going to be thinking, we shouldn't have signed this guy. This is mad. But I think now I feel all right about it. You know, I think you think, okay, once you do the maths and you think, oh, I'm doing all right here. I don't think they're regretting anything.
No,
you know?
I don't think so either. It's a great song. And when we air this back on Myfm, we're going to play the song too. And it's, you know, what's interesting too about the song is This is the first time you could really hear an accent in a song, because when you
Oh,
listen
great.
to like a Nile or a Louis Capaldi, something like that, you can't really tell they have an accent.
Right.
But for you, I mean, there's no hiding the Scouse, is there?
Oh, great. It's funny, man. I when I first started being in North America, my Liverpool accent is quite a soft one, really. It's not that strong, but no one could understand what I was saying at all. So I had to develop this way of talking that people could understand, really.
Yeah.
And then I go back to Liverpool and get in a taxi, and then it sort of all comes back, you know.
Comes right back. Introduce your song. Like, pretend that we are in LA right now. We're playing the song, and what do you want people to know as I press play on this song?
Well, my name is Banners. This is my song, Someone to You. I tried really, really hard when I wrote it and recorded it, so I hope you like it.